Hello everyone, this is GODand Center with Matthew. Today we're going to be in the Old Testament. We've been in the New Testament past month or so. Past month for sure. And it's just so crazy how the Holy Spirit does work, because somebody a while back, a couple weeks ago, told me to Google this or Google that, blah blah blah. So I was going to Google something, a lesson, but I don't ever really do that. I mean, maybe once or twice. It usually comes to me. And so I read over that, and I said, I don't want to do it. It was on Proverbs 23 is actually where I was going to go, where the flesh wanted to take me there. But I was like, you know what? I just ain't feeling that. I was like, I will be in Proverbs because I feel like that's where it steered me to. But we'll go to the 18th because that's the day. That's what a day's date is, and that's usually when I do Proverbs, a lesson. It's usually the day. I'm supposed to be reading a proverb a day is what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't do it. I fail drastically at that. So, so we're in Proverbs 18. Long story short, God told me don't mess with 23. Let's go to the whatever date is, and this is a fitting lesson here. Go to verse 1. A man who isolates himself seeks his own desire. He rages against all wise judgment. A fool has no delight in understanding, but in expressing his own heart. So it's telling us that a fool basically wants to hear himself talk. He don't care nothing about understanding. He don't care nothing about coexisting. It's all about him. Me, more, me. I'm the star of the show, and it's my way. It's nobody else is right. I'm the only one right. I'm wrong, and I admit I'm wrong sometimes. You know what I'm saying? I admit when I'm wrong. I mean, there's many times that I'm wrong or I make mistakes. Basically, I have to admit I'm wrong every day to God because I make mistakes. I make mistakes, and I have to admit my wrongs to Him every day. So anybody says that they don't have to go to God with something, then they're just lying. I mean, the Bible talks about it, that there's no such thing as a good man. And if that person says they're a liar, there's no truth in him. So we're going to go to verse 3 now. When the wicked comes, contempt comes also, and with dishonor comes reproach. The words of a man's mouth are deep waters. The wellspring of wisdom is a flowing brook. Our words, stuff that comes out of our mouth, is very important, and I fail at using these swear words a lot more than I'd like to tell. I'd like to tell you that I'm better at not using them than I am, but it just happens that I work in a kitchen where there's a lot of swearing, so it's harder because I've worked in environments where it wasn't as much, and Matthew can control his tongue a little better, but when he hears everybody else, then I get, I'm not trying to put no blame on nobody, because ultimately it's up to me. I catch myself doing it, man. Dad calls me out, and you know what? I thank him. I get mad at him when he does, but really he's doing it for my own good. Because a fool, it goes into here, a fool is the one who doesn't like correction. You know what I'm saying? So I just have to take my correction when it's right, and that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed, Greg, my buddy Greg, he'll correct me sometimes, and it gets under my skin when I know it. It's usually when I know they're right. It's usually when I know they're right about something, and I don't want them to be right. I want to be right, but I do accept it when I'm wrong. I do accept it when I'm wrong, and it's just man, this is a perfect lesson, man. I thank God for getting to read this tonight. We'll go to verse 5 now. It is not good to show partiality to the wicked, or to overthrow the righteous in judgment. A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calls for blows. That's just somebody keeps running their mouth or yap. They just keep running their mouth and yap. A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calls for blows. That's all the fool does, is run his mouth. Run his mouth, run his mouth. I try to keep my mouth shut. I try not to argue with one. It's best not to, because then you step on the same level as them. You get into the same playing field as them when you start doing this bickering back and forth. Not to say that I haven't done it and that I'm not capable of it, but it's saying it's best for us not to. 7. A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. Right there, verse 7. This goes deep. Everything that we say and the way we act is the way we present ourselves and the way we come off to people, the way we treat people, the way we talk to people. You know, it's all very important, man. It's all very important. You know, I got snippy with some people the last couple of days. Basically, it's because they're not living up to the code or the par I need them to be at, and they got snippy, and so I fell into that. I fell into that being getting caught up in that. You know, I'm not perfect. You know, I have to ask forgiveness from God every day on something I've done. We'll go to verse 8 now. The words of the talebearer are like tasty morsels, and they go down into the innermost body. He who is slothful in his work is a brother to him who is the great destroyer. So it's talking about, you know, people gossiping. It's going on about gossiping and then being slothful at work. And some of that was what was going on, the slothfulness at work. And there was a lot of this, and this was stuff that happened to me this week. You know, it's really crazy how like this actually came to me when I was trying to Google something. I said, I'm just going to let God do it. I'll go to 18 like I should be going to if I want to read out of Proverbs. I shouldn't be Googling a proverb. I should be going to a proverb on what day it is. So, you know, it says it goes down to the innermost body. The words of a talebearer. This guy at work the other day was spreading rumors about somebody that is pretty important in the company, and and then another person was chiming in as when I was younger and I was stupider, I wasn't as connected with God. I got caught up in that stuff. I get caught up in that chitter chatter. Guess what? I kept my mouth shut and just listened. You know, it's not for me to get caught up in this idle chatter. This stuff is for the heathen. This stuff is for the people that's not worried about living a godly life. And I'm not going to say that I can't still get caught up in some gossip sometimes, man. I know one thing. Matthew don't want to get caught up in gossip at work ever again. When I was younger, I would do that, but it's stupid to do that, man. It's stupid, and the Bible's telling us it's stupid to get into that. And for us to be slothful, man, I stay busy. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never ever been just lazy at work. That's something that got bred into me by my grandpa. My grandpa really at a young age beat that in my brain. If you're going to be a broom pusher, be the best daggone broom pusher there ever was. You know, try to be the best of whatever you're going to be. It don't matter if you're a broom pusher, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a chef, you're a cashier at Walmart. It don't matter. Just try to do the best you can, because you need to work as you're working for the Lord, not for Walmart or whoever it is that you're working for. Taco Bell. You don't work as if you're working for them. You work as if you're working for the Lord. You know. It says he who is slothful in his work is brother to him who is the great destroyer. So he's a friend of the devil, the person that's slothful at work. You know, it's just these words. It talks about these words going down the innermost body. We can speak life and death. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. The book of James chapter 3 speaks of that. And I did a few lessons on James chapter 3. That's probably my most favorite chapter in the entire Bible is James chapter 3, because that's something that I have to work on daily. I used to have to write that book, man, 5 and 10 times a day. I used to have to write it when I was in this mission down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, because I was saying stuff I wasn't supposed to be saying. So that would always make me write that. Man, I wrote that. I should have that. I should have that memorized where I could recite it. I wrote it so much. And you know what? I didn't cuss for like at least a year. After I finally got broke from that, it was like at least a year I didn't even say one swear word, even when I got out. It was about a year after I got out. So it was like probably a year and a half that I didn't really swear. I had to get back into that, you know. Let's see. Go to verse 10 now. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and are safe. The rich man's wealth is his strong city, and like a high wall in his own esteem. Okay, so we're supposed to be running the Lord, not running towards money. You know, it says the rich man's wealth is his strong city. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and are safe. So we need to stay within the confines of the Lord. And it talks later down here about chasing money, I believe. If it isn't this, it was where I was reading before, so I could be confused. We'll get into here, but it would have been in Proverbs 3 if it's not in this one. Or 23, I mean. We're going to go to verse 12 now. Before the heart of a man is haughty, and before honor is humility. He who answers the matter before he bears it, it is folly and shame to him. The spirit of a man will sustain him in sickness, but who can bear a broken spirit? I have to stay in conscious contact with God every day to keep my spirit from being broken. This life this world will drag you down, man. I'm so thankful for God today, because the amazing things that got done today is just out of this world. I was able to go to Gardendale, sell some ducks, go to Jasper, sell some eggs, then ended up going to get some feed, went to go eat it with Mom and Dad, then I went to the grocery store, ran into a guy I hadn't seen in a long time, but it's probably been 10, maybe it ain't been 10 years, but it's been close. It's been 5 or 10 years, and before that it was 5 or 10 years. It's a guy I used to work with at Bruno's. It was the first actual real job I had. The government took money out of my check. This dude, he's got the same name as me, but he goes by Matt. I noticed something different about him, though. I noticed he seemed to be in better spirits. Not to say that he never was, but he just seemed like a glow, I guess you'd say. He's always been a happy, jolly guy, but like there was something different. I knew it was something different about him. Just me talking to him, it was different. Because I'd known the guy. You know, I'd known the guy a long time now. It's been a long time since I'd known him, you know, but he had a wedding band on his finger. And I wasn't going to ask him about it, but like he ended up bringing it up. He got married a year ago. He's a couple years older than me, and it's like, man, you know, I was like, man, I guess there's hope. If this guy, I think he's 46. I think he said he was 46, so he's only a couple years older than me. He's only 2 years older than me. 46 or 47. I thought he said 46. He might have said 47, but I know it wasn't a day over 47. He's only 2 or 3 years older than me. But he is 2 or 3 years older than me. He just got married a year ago, so, you know, I get down the dumps sometimes, like, you know, that's never going to happen. But I seen how happy he was. I mean, he's always been a happy guy. Don't get it twisted. He's always, but there was something different, man, and I'm really happy for him. I gave him my business card that has my YouTube channel on, and I hope that he watches it, man. It was a beautiful thing seeing him and knowing that he's actually happy. You know, that not say he wasn't happy before, but that it finally happened for him. You know, it's a beautiful thing to see that. Let's see. So we'll go to verse 15 now. The heart of the prudent, heart of the prudent acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. The first one to plead his cause seems right, until his neighbor comes and examines him. Casting lots causes contentions to cease and keeps the mighty apart. It's just all about us getting along with each other, man. No matter what position we're in, it's all about us getting along with our neighbor, which our neighbor is somebody that not for us to not be running our mouth about people gossiping and backbiting and just leave people alone. I'm not gonna bash nobody because they believe one way or they think this one way. I'm not going to agree with them, but I'm not going to sit there and beat them to death about it, because everybody has their own opinion on what God is, who God is, and what God requires. Everybody has to. I just go by what this book, what I'm reading, and what me and God talk about, and the way God leads me through this. So you take it however you want to take it. 19. A brother offended is harder to win than a strong city, and contentions are like the bars of a castle. So once you offend your brother, it's hard to win him back over. That you caused problems. And I've done that in the past. I've caused some major problems with people. The point to where some relationships are never going to be fixed or unfixable. I have a boss that me and him got along real good for about a year. First year, got along real good. We've made a lot of progress together. Took the company from like 80-something. No, it was 80-something hospitals. We took it to top 5 in every category, and somewhere between. It was because I was running my mouth. I got involved in some of this gossip and stuff. I know that I was the wrong one in the party. I'm not going to say he's innocent, but I can only fix my part of the street, and I've actually tried to even though I'm no longer there and never see him again. I had tried to reach out to him a while back just to ask him what I could do to make things right. That's what AA teaches us. It ain't about saying you're sorry. It's about trying to make things right. And so I did what I had to do, but there wasn't no response. Maybe I'm blocked or whatever. But I can look back and see that I was very stupid. It wasn't actually the work I was doing or the quality of whatever was going on. It was just mainly two big egos, believing the other one was more important. Believing I was more important. He believing he's more important. And then just some stuff's being said that shouldn't have never been said. So I'm glad I got to read this tonight, because that just opened my eyes. I've been wondering, and it just now came to me that's exactly how all that went down. We'll go to verse 20 now. A man's stomach shall be satisfied from the fruit of his mouth, from the produce of his lips, and he shall be filled. So how we communicate with people, how we talk to people, how we treat people feeds us, feeds our spirit. So if we are bashing people like I was that guy, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I was bashing that guy, man, but he was bashing me behind my back as well. It was nothing, and coming up with some false stuff. So it was like I can only fix what I said. So I could have kept my mouth shut, and still things may have happened the way it happened. But at least I could look at it and say that nothing. I was to blame for nothing. Right now, I can say I was blamed for several things, but I'm a man enough to agree with it. But this whole, I'm going to read this again. This is important scripture. A man's stomach shall be satisfied from the fruit of his mouth. From the produce of his lips shall he be filled. So we have to speak life and death is in the power of our tongue. And we should be speaking nothing but good, fruitful things about people, good, fruitful things about ourselves. And we shouldn't be into this gossip and talking bad about people, talking bad about ourselves. I used to talk bad about myself for years. I used to call myself a POS, and and I'm never going to be nothing. And it was a bunch of self hate. We can get to the point where we hate ourselves, and that's not what God tells us right here, that we have to speak good things. 21. Man, this is so short, because I didn't even know this was the next verse, and didn't even know this was in here. I know it's in the book of James. 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat of its fruit. I just said that, man. It was just, man, God, you are so good. Verse 22. He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. That hasn't happened for me yet. I've seen that it's still possible today, because I've seen Matthew he was married, and he seemed very, 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 very happy about it. I'm very, very happy for that guy, man. I wanted to give him a hug. He was at work, and I ain't seen him a while. I didn't want to be weird, but I wanted to give him a hug. And maybe I did. I don't remember how all that went down, to be honest with you. It was just exciting to see him for a while. I remember I gave him my business card. That's all I really remember. But anyways, hopefully it'll happen for me one day. If it don't, it don't. But it says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. So I want to find a good thing, and I want to obtain favor from the Lord. So I'm in search of a wife, and I've been in search for one since I was 20, probably 16 years old, if you may be honest with you. 16 years old. I've been praying for a while, since I've been 16 years old, and it just hadn't happened. And I know that it's because I wasn't mature enough, and I wasn't the person I needed to be inside Christ. Even though I was a Christian, I was not the person that God needed me to be a good husband. I feel like I'm at that point now to where I can be a good husband to the right woman, but I also have to pick the right woman. And I'm glad that I never have got married to any of the women I dated, because it wouldn't have worked out, because it wasn't meant, man. God's saving the right time, the right place, the right woman. And I understand that, man. He said that it was some girl that he went to high school with, that he just caught back up with. They dated for a year and then they got married. So, it's just strange how everything works out, but I just believe that God is looking over me, God's looking over you, God's looking over this whole world. Now, whether or not we want to believe and we want to agree, or we want to communicate with God every day like we're supposed to, that's up to you. That's up to me. That's up to whoever's believes in God. So I'm going to go to verse 23 now. A poor man uses intrinities. Intrinities, but the rich answers roughly. A man who has a friend must himself be friendly, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. So we must be friendly to have friends. I'm just really glad that Alan came by to see me today. Haven't seen Alan in at least 2 years. I've been up here 2 years. I talk to him occasionally. He's one of the few people that actually calls and texts me. I call and check on him. It's not no long-winded conversations when we talk. Usually 5 or 10 minutes, maybe 15. Once every couple months. I feel like it's something like that. Maybe we might go 6 months, but it's like we're still where we was when we first met. I think he finally picked up, 4 years or something. So nobody knows who I'm talking about, so it don't even matter. I didn't mention the last name, but I shouldn't have said that. I know I shouldn't have said that. It's been 9 years for me, and me and him's been through a lot. He really is a good brother, you know, a really good brother in Christ, and it made my day to see him. It felt like that I had somebody that cared enough about me to come out and check on me. You know, I know he's on vacation up here, but when I lived down the beach, I seen people all the time coming down there, and I would ask them to come visit or something like that. And I might have had 2 people out of the whole time that would actually meet up with me. I didn't even ask them to come to my house. I'd meet up with them somewhere. And I understand that he's on vacation. He was on vacation today too, though. You know, he actually set up a time. They came out and checked out the farm, and I was able to give them some pickles I made. I got a video on some apple cider pickles. They are amazing, by the way. So if you haven't seen that video, you need to check it out. I could sell them pickles. I mean, they're that good. I could sell them. You know, it's just some little thing I concocted up on the fly. That's what I mainly do, stuff on the fly. And this last video I did, Mama sort of gave me some ideas and steered me in a direction on this dip that I made, this cucumber dip. But I'm getting off subject. All I can tell you is that, like, for us, the name of the game is for us to shut our mouth when fools are talking. Let them talk. Don't go back and forth with them. And let them do what they're going to do, because nothing's going to change their mind. Nothing's going to change anything. Let them talk to themselves. And for us to not talk about nobody. You know, I guess I'm talking about fools, and I'm not really talking about anybody in particular. If somebody wants to take it that way, they can. I'm not trying to give no fools a time of day. You know, I'm not trying to argue with nobody. I'm not trying to get my blood pressure up. I cut the news off in 2020 when the Capitol riot hit. I was talking to Alan about that. I knew that Alan had cut the TV off way before that. I think I'd known him since 2017. That's when I got sober, was 2017. And I met him shortly after that. It might be 2018 I met him. But he'd had the TV off 6 years prior to that. So I don't know. So I don't know if he's still. I didn't really get into it with him. I think maybe he wouldn't watch the TV though. He didn't have it. He just wouldn't do it. And now I understand why. And I just don't want to get caught up in it, man. I don't want to get caught up in this whole arguing and getting bound up. It's best not to listen to fools. Best not to argue with fools. Just talk to God. And keep your circle close. It's important to have good friends. Really good friends is very important to have, that will call you out and let you know when you've made a mistake. So with that being said, I want to tell each and every one of y'all I love y'all. Until next week, y'all have a blessed day.